Welcome, South Africa, to the Tech Table of Opportunities. Together with OPPO, we're creating a space to discuss technology, our mobile phones, and what makes it such an important part of our lives. I'm Yavi Madure, and this week, OPPO's Avashni Mudli and I welcome Rosanna Hall and Deshni Govender to the Women's Month Tech Table. We're talking women and their phones. According to a 2020 study, 94% of South African women said their number one tool was their phones. Actually, some of them said they could live without their husbands, but not without their phones. So let's ask the ladies, could they live without their phones? Let's get into it. So today I want us to talk about how true is that statement? Obviously it's a little bit of an exaggeration, but really, in essence and in our lives, how do you feel about your phone when you really sit back and think about how much it is a part of your life? Uh, how much of it is a part of your life? And we're going to start with Rose. Rose, so tell us how much do you rely on your mobile device, shall we call it?
So that statement is a little bit funny, but not too far from the truth. The honest opinion is that our phones literally, like my phone runs my life. From the minute I wake up to the minute I go to bed, my phone is my personal planner. It dictates what I do on a day-to-day basis. Like I work on my phone, I engage with my family on my phone. Literally all areas and dimensions of my life are channeled through my phone. So as much as that statement is absolutely hilarious, my phone is more efficient than my partner. So I would, if there was a burning situation, I don't know if I would grab my partner first or my phone. It's a very tricky one there.
Rose, we're going to let you mull that over in terms of, would you grab the partner before you grab your phone? Desh, what would be your choice? Would it be the phone? Would it be the partner? Would it be neither? Who would it be?
I really think it's quite funny when I think about it. But if we have to think about the times that we're living in, if anything, I think sometimes in lockdown, the phone is the access to your partner if you can't reach them. So it's almost like you can't do one without the other. But yeah, I think realistically speaking, it just kind of places gravitas on how important a phone is in our life. Yes, it's a tool, but similar to what we've been saying is that it dictates our emotions. It can set the tone of the day. It tells us where we need to be. And I think, in light of everything we've been going through in the last year, almost 2 years, it really helps us connect and be informed. So when you place that amount of importance, I can see how it kind of takes more points. So yeah.
So, Desh, I just want to ask you, when you look at how women consume, shall we say, phones or mobile devices, what are some of the things that they look for? We heard Rose say that it basically, controls or dictates or coordinates her life. What are some of the things that you have noticed around how women buy phones or how women look for phones, or what are some of the things that they want from a phone?
It's actually a great question because I think we can often lean more into the how, right? So it's like the apps and what you're doing on the phone. But if we strip it down, in essence, you need a good phone because, like a car, yes, you're going to get to the destination, but if the car is not solid, you're not getting anywhere. So I know myself and my friends, when we chat about things, we want something to be simple. As much as we know with technology, there's lots of bells and whistles. The main thing needs to be the main thing, right? It needs to be absolutely easy to understand. And I say this because we have a plethora of options from apps and such, so it just needs to be easy to navigate. Something else, and particularly in the role of the space that I'm in, we're seeing that a lot of people, similar to what Rose has said, is that you're actually running your business from your phone. And if we want to take it one step further, people are creators or influencers. So you really are looking at a phone from the tools that it can offer you. You're looking at camera quality, quality, mic quality. I mean, I'm not a tech boffin, but I would say that, it needs to be that workhorse that can get you through signing a PDF on your phone to being able to take a key visual for your Instagram. So I think a lot of women are looking at that saying, you know what, how can I have a one-stop shop on my phone? The apps and everything you do and the comms come after. It just needs to be a good, sturdy one. And I think we're all chasing that phone that can probably have never needs to be charged, eh? But yeah, in essence, just needs to be good and sturdy and simple.
And it's kind of like, we say we're talking about husbands and partners and making the connection. It's like, what would you look for in a phone? The way we'd look for in a significant other. And yes, battery life for me would be number one, staying power, so to speak. Avash, um, from an OPPO perspective, I'm sure the daily discussions are very much around, this kind of conversation. What are some of the things that when you discuss from a product development or from a marketing perspective, what are some of the things that a mobile provider like yourselves look to providing or putting into our hands as women? What are some of those things that you would look towards saying to us, this is the stuff that is going to change your life when that phone gets put in your hand?
Well, I think you spoke about battery and having the best battery because your phone is your workhorse. And I think with our technology, we have SuperVOOC charging. So with our latest device, you can just charge it for 5 minutes and you have 4 hours of battery life. And I think that's something that we look at what you need as a consumer or as a person. My phone's my personal assistant. It's the first thing I look at when I wake up in the morning because I'm a news junkie. So I scroll through all my feeds, and the most important thing is I've stopped charging overnight. I think that was something that we did in the past where we charged our phones every night before we went to sleep, and I usually do it in the morning while I'm having coffee. And it, as I said, takes 5 minutes, and you get 4 hours of battery life. So that's some of the key things we look at from a product perspective: is how do we give the consumers what they require in their day on this piece of device.
And when we look at it, Rose, so you're the from the horse's mouth, so to speak. What are some of the things that you have to have when it comes to the phone in your life? And we know battery life, camera, these are the kind of things we tend to go for. But is there something that we don't necessarily know we need? So it's kind of like a situation of we don't know what we don't know. So help us, tell us, what is it that we should be looking for in a phone? What is it that has helped you get through some of, the craziest, busiest times of your life? And tell us something about how it fits into, currently, how do you use it specifically? You said it like controls your life, or it runs your life, basically. What are some of the things that it actually does? When you say it runs your life, what do you mean?
So essentially, what I mean is that from everything that I do, my phone, so I'm a digital content creator. So my phone essentially allows me to execute my career, you know. It allows me to run my business independently, solely on my phone, um, from literally from the inception of receiving a brief from a client. So I'm using my emails to access that. I'm downloading PDFs, I'm reading the brief, and then the next step is using the search engine, to search for information, ideas around the subject, around the topic, to inspire myself. And the next thing is the camera, which is then I use to capture the content, as Desh mentioned, like rightly so, that camera quality is of the utmost importance for me as a content creator. My camera quality is can essentially determine what campaigns I book, what clients I'm attracting. So that is like absolutely a non-negotiable. So from inception to end, my phone, enables me to execute my work. And even from a mental health perspective, my voice memos and my notes have saved me. Like, there'll be times where, I talk myself through therapy. So I'll record a voice memo when I'm in an emotional state or I'm very upset or whatever, and I'll literally talk myself through it. And then later on, I listen to myself and I hear the things that I'm saying. And that kind of helps me to process whatever it is that I was going through. Even with my notes, when I have bursts of ideas, bursts of information, or things that I want to do and execute, I'll quickly go to my notes and write it there. I'll find that there's so many things that I've saved in my notes that I can later turn into a campaign idea, or an idea for something that I might want to do in the future. So in terms of that, allowing creativity to have a space, allowing myself to regulate my mental health, those are some of the things that are very important to me and obviously essential for me to, execute my career, like I mentioned.
When you look at your phone being the tool to your career, what is the one thing that, whether it's an app, whether it's a functionality, what is the one thing you cannot live without? Whether it's your email, whether it's the camera, which is it? Which is the one thing that is like a not negotiable?
So, scary fun fact about me, I have 100,000 pictures in my phone. So I document literally everything. I'm one of those annoying people. Like, I I want to savor every moment and I want to have a memory of everything. So I wouldn't be able to function without my camera because it allows me to remember places and people and moments that I've shared. And my family lives outside the country, so sometimes the pictures and the videos are the only reference point when I'm missing them. So there's also that I have an emotional attachment to, wanting to save memories. And I love the fact that in the age that we live in, our phones allow us to relive memories and relive moments, and we can literally travel with them in our pockets and in our hands. I just think that that's the most amazing thing ever.
I always say that technology is very spiritual because it creates a connection amongst human beings. And you have literally just proved my point by saying that. So thank you. I'm going to record this and I'm going to keep it so that when anyone says it is not, I am going to tell them I beg to differ.
Please quote
Dish,
me.
I am going to quote you. I definitely am. Dish, when it comes to, so, Rosa said her camera, and it's for all those beautiful moments and memories that she has just said, and affirmed my belief that technology is a spiritual thing as opposed to a physical, tangible thing. What is the one thing, if I have to say to you, you have a genie to grant you one wish, but it's a genie for a phone. What is the one thing you would want in a phone that you don't have currently?
Ooh, it's actually such a great question. I think that because it's so inextricably linked, both like work and personal, and I think working from home now, it's hard to kind of get those boundaries or barriers. I was thinking about it because I sync my sync my phone across devices. And I like that on my laptop, I can sign in and out and I get a different experience. I can be creative and then I can be work dish. And I would really love that functionality on a phone so that I can almost just switch profiles and it's a different, ecosystem. It could be like literally how you have a dark mode. It would be more of a fun environment when I log off work. For me, work is very taxing. Being a brand manager across 7 countries, dealing with French, Portuguese, and English, my phone ends up being a multitude of things. And sometimes because I work across time zones, I find myself in an endless loop. I love what I do, but I'm in an endless loop of work, personal, work, personal. So it would be nice almost to kind of switch those profiles and then mentally you literally like, oh yes, I'm in dash mode or I'm in work mode. So if that genie can work that magic, I am all for that.
The device that I'm using, you can have a separate work screen and a personal screen, and you can have different. If you're using your fingerprint, you can have different fingerprint access for each. And you can create 2 profiles on your device there where you can have all your work information, your contacts, your WhatsApps, your emails, and then you can have your personal one. So you can go into either modes at any time that you want on your device and have it both separated.
The Tech Table of Opportunities was proudly brought to you by OPPO in partnership with I Am South African and PABWA.